Alright, in the previous video we had solved the end moments for this given frame. Now let us try to find out the reactions, vertical reaction and horizontal reaction. Then we will try to determine what is the SFD and BMD diagram of this problem. Okay. This is your frame. In this frame there are three elements A, B, B, C and C, D. So AB member is written over here. First I am calculating the reactions that are developed only because of external forces, which is 30 kN and 30 kN on both the side. Then what I'll do is I'll take the end moments of member AB. So MAB is minus 35.3 and MBA is 36.7. With respect to that, I calculate how much is the reaction that I get. So 36.7 minus 35.3 divided by 4 will be equals to 0.35. So here it is minus 0.35, here it is plus 0.35. Okay. Similarly, I'll go for member BC. Member BC is subjected to UDL of 40 kN. So 40 into 4 divided by 4, right? That is supposed to 40 into So for member BC, 40 into 4 divided by 2 will give you the reaction, which is 80 kN and 80 kN. Similarly, with respect to end moments, which is MBC and MCB, I have calculated how much is the reaction. So 50 minus 3.67 divided by 4 will give you the reactions here, which is minus 3.45 at joint B, and at joint C it will be plus 3.45. Now similarly for last member, which is member CD, there is no external force which is acting, henceforth the reactions will be 0. Now going with respect to the end moments, we have minus 50.5 and here also minus 40.6. So MDC and MCD value are negative in nature, so henceforth 50.5 plus of 40.6 divided by the length 3 will give you how much is the reaction. At this point it is equal to 30.367, right? So once you solve all the reactions with respect to end moments and with respect to external forces that are acting on each individual element, now we will try to comprise all the reactions that we have solved, and we will formulate what are the reactions that are developed for the frame. Okay. Now if you want to know how much is VA, vertical reaction at joint A, so what we need to do is that we need to calculate how much is the reaction that is coming at joint B. So to calculate that, we need to go for this. Okay. So at joint B, the vertical reactions that we have is 80 minus 3.45, which is equals to 76.55. Similarly for VD we must go, VD we must try to resolve how much is the reaction that is developed at C point. So at C point it is equals to 80 plus 3.45, which is equals to 83.45. So we have solved VA and VD. Now we can solve for HA and HD. So HA and HD are given here. So you can calculate HA from this element. So at joint A, from only external load, which is 30 kN is the reaction, 30 minus 0.35 will give you HA. HA is equals to 29.65. Now as we know, at this joint we already calculated the reaction, which is 30.367. So 30.367 is HD. Okay. Now similarly MAB and MDC is also written, which is minus 35.3 and minus 40.6, and these are the internal moments that I have achieved. Okay. Now from all these values that we have determined, what we do is we calculate the SFD and BMD diagram. So as you know, we will start from end point A. At point A we will see how much is the horizontal reaction. The horizontal reaction that we have calculated here is 29.65, right? So 29.65 from here to here it will go. Then 29.65 will continue till it reaches the concentrated load. 29.65 minus 60 will give you minus 30.35, and this will continue till this point, and then it will become 0. Okay. Now we can go for member BC. So for member BC, we know how much is the vertical reaction at A. Whatever the vertical reaction is there, that will be subjected here. So here the shear force will be equals to 76.55, and as you know, this is UDL, the shear force will vary linearly. So henceforth 76.55 minus of 40 into 4 will give you minus 83.5. So at this point it is minus 83.5. If you go to the right, you need to add the reaction VD. Okay, because whatever the reaction that is applied at D will be the reaction that is applied at C. So minus 83.45 plus of 83.45, it will become 0. Okay, now going to member DC, the horizontal reaction at D is 30.67, so this 30.67 will be here, and this will continue till this point, then it will become 0. So this becomes your shear force diagram. Now going with bending moment diagram, what we do is with respect to first your external loading, we try to draw the bending moment diagram. So the external loading that we have on AB is 60 kilonewton. So as we know, the reaction here is 30 into 2 is equals to 60. So we will first draw the triangle with 60 kilonewton meter as the maximum ordinate. Okay, so once you draw the triangle, we have to superimpose over that with the bending moment of end moments. So the end moments that I have is 35.3 and 36.7. So this is a trapezoidal, and you know why it is trapezoidal, because it is hugging. Okay, if this is the element that we have, now applying a moment like this, because of that it will bend in this direction. So if it bends in this direction, we'll call it as hogging. So that's why this becomes negative. Okay, now similarly we can go for member BC. As you know, it is UDL, it will be parabolic curve. So the maximum ordinate of the parabolic curve will be 40 into 4 square divided by 8, right, which is equals to 80. Now as we know, again this is the trapezoidal bending moment diagram that is coming from the end moments. So as you know, again the end moments are applied like this. So because of that, it will bend like this, it will create hugging. So again this is hugging. Now going to this last column that we have, there is no external loading. Okay, so there is only one bending moment diagram that will be written over here, which is because of only end moments. Now we'll try to understand how this behaves. So there is a force being there is a moment that has been applied in this direction. Okay, again at the bottom also there is a moment that is applied in the same direction, which is anti-clockwise direction, negative direction. Now you try to understand, if I apply this, the elastic curve would be like this. Okay, so this becomes your sagging part, this becomes your hogging part. So with respect to that, I have drawn this bending moment diagram. I hope this is very much clear. So yesterday one of the students had asked me to explain the third equilibrium equation. So I would like to briefly discuss that third equilibrium equation, then we can move on to the next topic. Okay, so let me explain that again. Okay, what we'll do is to understand how we develop the equilibrium equation, the third equilibrium equation. So what we do is that I'll take a general condition of how the equation has to be written. Okay, first thing that you have to remember is that we need to take the summation of all the horizontal forces equal to 0. So we will first understand what are the horizontal forces that will get developed for this frame. Okay, for this given frame I'm trying to explain it. Okay, now there is an external horizontal force which is already been acting. So as you know, these are the two support ends. So at these two supports there are two horizontal reactions that can be developed. So with respect to that, I have given you this terms called HA and HD. HA is representing the horizontal horizontal reaction that is developed at A, and HD is the horizontal reaction that is developed at D. Okay, so once you know there are two reactions that will be generated, so from that you can formulate your summation of horizontal force equals to 0 equation. Now see here, we know that this direction we consider as positive and this direction we consider it as negative. So HA plus HD minus of 60 will give you 0. Okay, now assume that there are other forces, like for example if there is a force that is acting on this member also. Okay, assume here it is 20 kilonewton. So what we need to do is, in this equation I have to consider again minus of 20 if it is acting in this direction. Now if it was acting in this direction, I would have considered it as plus 20. You need to understand this concept. When I tell you to formulate an equation which is called as summation of horizontal force equals to 0, what you need to do is that you need to understand how many external horizontal forces that are acting on the frame. Then you need to determine how many horizontal reactions that are developed. For this given frame, there are two horizontal reactions and one external load. Okay, now you need to sum up all of this. HA plus HD minus of 60 will give you the summation of horizontal force equals to 0. This is our equilibrium equation. Okay, now once you know what is this equation, now we will try to define what is HA and HD. So how do we do that? So as you know that whenever I tell you to derive the reactions, what you do is that you will take the member, any given member, you will know, you would have already determined how much is the end moments, right? In the previous problem itself I explained you, we had calculated MAB and MBA. Based on the end moments we will calculate the reaction, and then based on the external forces we calculate the reaction. So let me call the reaction that is calculated from the external forces as RA, and the reactions that are calculated from the end moments at RA dash. Okay, so which means that the horizontal reaction at A will be equals to RA dash plus of RA. What is RA dash? RA dash is the reaction that is calculated from the end moments. RA is the reaction that is calculated from the external loading. So here the external loading that we have on AB is 60 kilonewton. Okay, so which is acting at the center, which means RA will be equal to 30. Okay, you try to understand this. If it was 80 kilonewton, this would have been 40 kilonewton. If it was eccentric, we would have determined how much is the reaction that we get at RA. So understand this concept. Okay, so HA is equals to RA dash plus RA. What is RA? RA is the reaction that is calculated from external load, and RA dash is the reaction that is calculated from the end moments. Now what is the RA dash? Now let me assume that at A and at B, so the moment that we get is MAB and MBA. Okay, I'm assuming both of them to be positive. Okay, which is not true. Okay, anyway, if it is wrong, while the end of the solution you will get to know whether the sign symbols are wrong or right. Okay, whether the considered direction is correct or wrong. Okay, so here I'll consider them as positive itself. Let me assume them as positive. If I assume them as positive, you try to determine how much is the RA equation. Now let us try to determine RA dash. So summation of all the moments at B is equals to 0 in this given figure. Okay, you just concentrate on this given figure. So RA dash into L, let me assume this as length L. This is the length of member L. Now plus of MAB plus of MBA is equals to 0, which means RA dash is equals to MAB plus MBA divided by L. But there is a minus symbol because we are sending it to that side, right? So RA dash will be is equals to minus MAB plus MBA divided by L. Similarly, we can also calculate for RD dash. Okay, what is where RD will be used? RD is used to calculate HD. HD is equals to RD dash plus of RD. Now what is RD? RD dash? RD dash is the reaction that is calculated by the end moments on element CD, right? Now what is RD? RD is the reaction that is calculated from the external forces that are subjected on element CD. But now see, is there any external force that is acting on this? So if there is no external force here, so this will become 0. Now assume if there is a 20 kilonewton which is applied at the center, how much would have been this RD? RD would have been 10 kilonewton. Okay, now you try to understand this. Okay, if at all there is an external force given, then only we can determine RD. Now as we know that in this there is no horizontal external horizontal force being applied, therefore the RD is equals to 0. Now what will be HD is equals to, as we know it will get cancelled, it will become only HD is equals to RD dash. Now what is RD dash? RD dash we can again calculate by using the condition. So RD dash into L is equals to minus of MDC plus of MCD divided by L. Okay, that is what equation I have written. Now let us go back to this first equation that I gave you, which is HA plus HD minus 60 equal to 0. Okay, so what is HA equal to? HA is equals to this RA dash plus of RA. You know how much is RA dash. So let me substitute these two values into this. Okay, so minus MAB plus MBA divided by L. Okay, plus of RA. Okay, right. Now going to HD. HD, as we know, here we have equation HD is equals to RD dash plus of RD. Okay, RD dash is minus MCD plus MDC divided by L plus of RD. Okay, now let us substitute what is RA and RD. Anyway, this will remain same itself. So this will become RA is 30 plus of 0 is equals to 60. So this is what I will get. Okay, I hope this is very much clear to you. If you have any doubt, you can ask me later. Okay, this is how I formulated this equation. Okay, you also try to derive such kind of equilibrium equation for other frames. If you find any difficulty in solving that, you bring it to me, I'll solve it over here. I hope I have solved enough number of problems on both sway and non-sway frames. If you want me to solve more non-sway frames and sway frames, you message me. What we will do is that we will move on to the next module, which is moment distribution method. If you find difficulty in solving any of the problem of any type of structure, you message this to me so that I'll solve it in the class, and I'll make a video of it and I'll send it to you. Okay, let us briefly try to understand the moment distribution method. So here what we'll do is I'll give you a brief explanation of stiffness. Okay, I already have explained you what is stiffness. The value of stiffness is determined based on the moment that is required to create unit rotation. Okay, so like for example, I had given you this equation called as 4 ei theta a divided by L. So here theta becomes unity 1, then that will represent the moment, and this moment is representing the stiffness of any element. Okay, greater the moment, higher the stiffness, lesser the moment, lesser the stiffness, right? So there are two conditions in which we can understand the stiffness of any given element, which is basically dependent on the far end joint. Okay, if the far end is fixed, the moment that is required here will be equals to 4 ei theta a divided by L. If the far end is pinned, the moment that is required to create the unit rotation will be 3 ei divided by L. Okay, so these are the derivations which we already discussed about. So here what we will also try to understand is the relative stiffness. Relative stiffness means what? If I try to compare the joint with far end as pinned and far end as fixed, I'll try to mention what is the differences that exist between them. So to find out that, I'll take the relative stiffness. Relative stiffness is basically the ratio of the moment stiffness of the with far end as pinned to the stiffness with the far end as fixed. Okay, so what is the moment or the stiffness with the far end as pinned, which is equals to 3 ei theta a divided by L. Okay, 3 ei theta a divided by L, and it should be divided by the stiffness value with the far end as fixed, which is 4 ei theta a divided by L. So I'll take the ratio of these two, which is 3 ei theta a divided by L, 4 ei theta a divided by L. So my stiffness value is 3 by 4 I by L. Okay, now if I take the ratio of this by this self, it will become I by L. Okay, you need to understand this. So if I want to compare the stiffness between two different elements, this is one element, this is another element. If I had to compare the stiffness value of these two elements, what I should do is that I should take the ratio of stiffness values of these two. Okay, so that is what I have done here. So in this k value, which is 3 by 4 I by L, it is representing you the variation of stiffness that will happen between the element which is having far end fixed and the far end hinged. Okay, so once you understand this, what I'll do is I'll try to explain this given figure. So what this basically does is, there is a joint called as O. Okay, this is our joint O. This is our joint O here. It is connected by 4 elements. So element OA, OB, OC and OD. All the elements are of different sections. So see here, the section here I am calling it as I1, this is I2, I3, I4, like this. Okay, so let me make a small correction here. Okay, so the I value here is I1 and L1. So it means what? All these elements which are OA, OB, OC and OD do not have same cross section or length. Okay, all the cross sections of these elements will vary and all the lengths of these elements will vary. Now earlier I had given you a joint which is connected by only one member. Now this is a joint which is connected by 4 members, right? So it can be connected by numerous members. I'm just showing you only 4 members being connected at a joint. So now I want to determine how much is the joint stiffness. Okay, so here if there is only one member, the stiffness of that joint and stiffness of that member is represented by this value itself. But when it is connected by two or more elements, so the joint stiffness is not equal to the stiffness of any given member, right? So here the stiffness of this member may be 4 ei theta a divided by L, but the stiffness of this entire joint is not same. So the stiffness of this entire joint is dependent on the number of elements that are connected at this joint. So for this, what we need to do is that I need to identify how much is the stiffness value of all these elements. Okay, now let us take one by one. Member OA is having a stiffness of 4 ei 1 into theta a divided by L1. So see here, I is I1, L is L1, right? So that's why the stiffness value of OA will be equals to 4 ei 1 theta a divided by L1. Now similarly, we can go for B joint. As you know, this was fixed and this is now pinned. Now because it is pinned, so the value of stiffness will be 3 ei 3ei2 theta a divided by L2. Similarly, we can write for OC and OD, which is 4 ei3 theta a divided by L3, and for OD, which is 4 ei4 theta a divided by L4. Okay. Now once you calculate all the stiffness values, if I sum all of this, if I take the sum of all of this, that will give me the joint stiffness. It means what? The stiffness of a given joint is the summation of the stiffnesses of all the elements. Okay, so this will give me the joint stiffness. Okay, now there is another way we can solve this, okay, by taking the relative stiffness. So see here, as I told you, this is your element which is OA. Now the far end is fixed. In case of far end fixed, what we need to do is that we have to take I by L itself. So here I by L is I1 by L1. So I1 by L1. As I shown you, if the relative stiffness will vary when the far end is pinned. The far end is pinned in case of OB element. So that's why I have to take the relative stiffness as 3 by 4 I by L. So 3 by 4, I here is I2 and L here is L2. You need to substitute the same thing. For OC and OD, far end are fixed, so that's why the relative stiffness will be I by 3, L by 3, I by 4, L by 4. Okay. Now if you take the summation of this, okay, summation of this, again this will give you the joint stiffness itself. Okay. So now we have calculated what is the stiffness of a joint. Okay. The stiffness of a joint is the summation of all of this. Now the next thing what we need to do is to calculate the distribution factor. Okay. Okay. So what is the meaning of this distribution factor is, now if there is a resistance that is happening at this joint, this resistance will be shared among all these four elements, right? So it will, if there is a moment that I'm supposed to apply at this joint, if I apply a moment over here, that moment will be distributed between all these four elements. So that's why we need to identify how much of the stiffness has been distributed among each of the element. So to do that, what we need to do is we need to take the relative stiffness or the stiffness value of an individual element and divide it by the joint stiffness. Okay, I just gave an example. Okay, now let us take that I'm calculating what is the value of df1. df1 is representing the distribution factor for member OA. So what we need to do here, whatever the K1 value I get, this should be divided by summation of Ki. Okay, you have to take the sum of all these values. So summation of all of this. Okay, so distribution factor for first member OA will be equals to the stiffness, relative stiffness of that element divided by the joint stiffness. Okay, similarly we can calculate for OB, OC, OD and n number of members. So basically the distribution factor is nothing but the relative stiffness or stiffness of any member divided by the joint stiffness. Okay, so this is what you need to remember. Okay, once you understand this, in the next part we will try to solve the problem. Okay, I hope this is very much clear.